Hey, what is going on, you guys? Jordan over here at the Movie Den. I hope you all are doing well. So guys, I just got my hands on these two brand new 4Ks for the first time from Scream Factory, and we are talking about Sleepaway Camp 2 and Sleepaway Camp 3. But of course, as always, I'll make sure to put links down below where you guys can pick these up if you guys want to go ahead and pick yourself up some of these. Now, these are pretty interesting because they both take place pretty much directly after the very first Sleepaway Camp. The only difference is you are not getting Felissa Rose returning as Angela Baker. Instead, you are getting Pamela Springsteen. Now, what's interesting is Pamela Springsteen, she brings kind of a comedic take on Angela Baker's character. Now, that's not necessarily just due to her. I mean, you can really thank the writer and director for that. They're the ones who brought that more comedic take to Angela Baker's character and really to the whole story in general. And that was mainly thanks to the popularity of Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street. Of course, he blew up, and following the first film of Nightmare on Elm Street, that comedic edge that Freddy Krueger had as the films went on really became popular, like I said, in the mid-'80s when these came out. And so they jumped on that train of that kind of comedic, campy take on horror films. And that's what you get with Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. But I do want to talk about these movies. Let's go ahead and talk about Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Now with this one actually takes place 5 years after the events of Sleepaway Camp 1 at Camp Ararak. And Angela Baker returns as a camp counselor at this camp called Camp Rolling Hills. And in this, of course, you do know from the beginning that she is Angela Baker. She is the killer, and she is killing off campers left to right, basically as they misbehave. She's kind of a ruthless counselor, to be honest. And as these campers are disappearing or being killed by Angela Baker, she is going up to kind of the head of the camp that is running everything and basically tells them, look, I'm sending them home. They're not listening. They shouldn't be here. They don't deserve to be here. I'm sending them home. And that actually ends up catching up to her. And she eventually kind of has to come clean in a way of basically killing everyone. What's really great with this one is this has a really cool scene where it's a nod or a take of the slashers of the time. There's a scene where you've got Freddy, Jason, and even Leatherface makes an appearance in their own way. Of course, they can't outright say this is who it is with rights and all that stuff, but we all know what it is. And it's also a nod to horror fans as well. But after the events of Sleepaway Camp 2, we of course get Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. Now this only takes place 1 year after the events of Sleepaway Camp 2. So now we're 6 years after the first Sleepaway Camp. Now, of course, with this one, Pamela Springsteen does return as the character Angela Baker. But with this one, they really take the comedy and the campiness up to the next level. I mean, it is just littered throughout this film. Lots of one-liners, lots of kind of, hey, wink at the camera type of thing. And this one, it starts off that Angela actually kills a soon-to-be camper at this camp, basically runs her over, and then takes her identity and goes to this camp where they actually took over Camp Rolling Hills and rebranded it as Camp New Horizons, which what they did with this is it was kind of a social experiment, really. Basically where they took teens of different backgrounds and tried to put them together. You have the group of teenagers that were well off. They had both of their parents home, lots of money, good education, that whole side. Then you had the group of teenagers that, they were the misfits. They didn't have a lot of the privileges that a lot of these other kids had. And they tried to put them together, and that is what you get. Now, of course, similar to the first one, except this one, she's not a counselor, these campers end up going missing. And of course, you know what happens. It shows them. The kills in this one are a lot more elaborate and a lot more creative. And I would argue some more sinister, in my opinion. Like, let's talk about the lawnmower scene. Very creative, but that's evil. Now, of course, you do have ties to the second one, not just Pamela Springsteen's Angela Baker. One of the dads of the campers from the second one that was murdered is in this one as a counselor in this film as well. Now, there's not a lot to say about these films. You've just got Angela Baker making her way into these camps and killing campers. That's what it is. It's a very simple concept, but it's a lot of fun. Now, with these two films, you are getting some really good special features. There is one that's on Sleepaway Camp 2 that kind of covers Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. You've got an interview with Bill Johnson, who is the special effects makeup artist for both of these films. And like I said, it is only on the first disc, but he talks about all the kills for the second and third film. And that interview was phenomenal. He brings in props that he used in the movie. And he talks about, which I thought was interesting, is how he kind of cut his teeth with these films. It was low budget, so they didn't have a lot of financing. It was a quick turnaround time, and you know, it was early on in his career. So he had basically everything going against him. And with what he had to work with, it turned out to be really, really phenomenal. Great special effects in this film. So definitely check out that special feature if you guys haven't. On the Sleepaway Camp 2, let's see what we've got here, because I can't remember all the new special features you're getting. You're getting Return to Sleepaway Camp 2, looking at the making of the film with counselor Jeff Hayes, author of Sleepaway Camp, making the movie and reigniting the campfire, which that was pretty good. It's a guy who wrote a making of and basically talks about the film. You're getting I'm a Happy Camper interview with actor Brian Patrick Clark, new Campfire Carnage Inside the Makeup Effects interview with special effects makeup artist Bill Johnson. That's the one I was talking about. Definitely check that out. Really awesome. You're getting a couple audio commentaries, A Tale of Two Sequels, Part 1, Back to Camp, featuring interviews with Michael A. Simpson, actress Amy Fields, director of photography Bill Mills, and more. You're getting abandoned locations, Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, behind-the-scenes footage, home video trailer, and looks like a short film, Whatever Happened to Molly. What I find interesting is, let's say you just want Sleepaway Camp 2, you're getting some special features that are for Sleepaway Camp 3 as well, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Now on to Sleepaway Camp 3, some of the stuff you are getting. You're getting Return to Sleepaway Camp 3, looking at the making of the film with counselor Jeff Hayes, author of Sleepaway Camp 3. So basically the same guy who did that kind of featurette, taking a look at the making of Sleepaway Camp 2, he did the same thing for this Sleepaway Camp 3. Weeding out the bad inside the stunts, interview with stunt coordinator Lonnie Smith Jr. That's a great one too. Check that out, guys. Angela's greatest hits inside the Sleepaway Camp songs, interview with singer-songwriter John Atten. Let's see, you get a couple audio commentaries, A Tale of Two Sequels, Part 2 of what was on Sleepaway Camp 2. New Victims and New Horizons, featuring interviews with Michael A. Simpson, actress Mark Oliver, Daryl Wilcher, Sandra Dorsey, Kim Wall, and more behind-the-scenes footage. Let's see. And you're also getting Tony Lives, another short film in this one. And, I forgot to mention, you are getting a 4K restoration, obviously, but this one's from the Inner Positive. And that's kind of what I want to talk about with these. Now, how do they look? Well, I don't have the Blu-rays to compare these two, so it's hard for me to say, hey, you know, this is a massive jump up from the Blu-rays. But I will say they looked really, really good. Now, I know a lot of you guys already know, but the best way to get it, obviously, is from the camera negative or the OCN. Now, look, I'm not technical. I don't know all the ins and outs of how that works. I just know, you know, the camera negative is where you want to get it from. However, this did not get it from that. I don't know if the prints are damaged or if they just can't get them, but regardless what they're working with, it still looked really good. And it makes me wonder if it's possible to get that with Sleepaway Camp 1. I would love to see them do a 4K of that. I have the Blu-ray, still looks great, but it'd be really interesting to see that. So yes, even though you're not getting the 4K transfer from the OCN, it still looks really good. However, unfortunately, you are only getting a mono mix. You are not getting even a 2.1 really, or a 2.0 mix. It is just the mono mix. Leaves a little to be desired, to be honest. So I'm kind of bummed about that. I don't know the reasons why they went with just the mono mix, but in fact, you are just getting a mono mix audio track with these. Another interesting thing with these that I did notice, and I was actually watching Christian Planet CHH, I want to credit him, that he kind of brought that to my attention in one of his videos. You are just getting 4Ks with this. Now, that is most likely due to Sandpiper Pictures, or Sandpiper Productions, Sandpiper Films. I don't know what they're called. But anyways, they had just recently put out Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 in a very, very bare bones Blu-ray. I mean, I'm talking probably no special features. I don't know. I haven't looked at them, but very bare bones. So that's why you're not getting the Blu-rays in these. you are just getting the 4Ks. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff that this comes with. As you can see, this is the additional slip that you can get exclusively through Shout Factory. And I do really love this artwork. There's the front and then the back right there. I did grab the original slips as we have right here, so you guys can see that. And on the back, there is all of the special features and everything that it comes with. And then, of course, here, got the original artwork on the 4K case. Same as the original slip. No reversible artwork either. And then inside, as you can see, it is just the 4K disc right there. So there is Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Let's go ahead and talk about Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. Here is the original slip right there. You guys all know and love that artwork. There is the back of the original slip. And then, of course, we have the additional alternative slip. Personally, I like Sleepaway Camp 2's artwork better, but this is still really great. So there is that. And then the back right there, that iconic scene right there. And then, of course, there's your case. Back, same as the slip. And then, of course, inside, like I said, no Blu-ray, but you do get your 4K right there. So there's everything you're getting with the actual cases and everything like that. Not a whole lot, no booklets or anything like that. But since I did pre-order through Shout Factory with this bundle, I did get the posters, which we have right here. Now, this is my second time recording this. The first time I did have a big audio issue, so I already did open these in that video that you're not going to see because the audio's messed up. You know, a lot of people were wondering how they had the posters set up, right? Was it you had like Sleepaway Camp 2 with the original artwork and then you flip it and it's a commissioned artwork, and then you would have like Sleepaway Camp 3, one side's the original, the reverse side is the commission? Or do you just get the one commissioned artwork poster and then the other one is you have to reverse it for either Sleepaway Camp 2 or 3? You can't have both up. It is unfortunate, but it is the second one. There's no way for you to display Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 posters separately. They are on one poster and they are reversible. So in my opinion, that was a big miss from Scream Factory. What they should have done is like how I said it originally, where one poster is one side, the original artwork, and you flip it and it's the newly commissioned for 2 and 3. You're still getting 2 posters there, so you're not really spending any extra money. But I mean, this is cool. I like that they did this, but it's still kind of annoying. So there you go. There is the commissioned artwork poster. You got both of them right next to each other. Yeah, guys, I'm really bummed with Scream Factory that they decided to go this route. What are you gonna do? And then here is the poster with the original artwork. As you can see, Sleepaway Camp 2, and if you reverse it, Sleepaway Camp 3. So huge missed opportunity, Scream Factory. I really wish you guys would have went a different route, because now no one could display both of the artwork. You have to choose, and that's pretty unfortunate. But I will say, Scream Factory, whatever they're doing with their new shipping, yeah, I think it's a little more pricey, but I'll take it because everything arrived in perfect condition. Nothing was damaged. So I'm very happy with that, because as you guys know, and if you guys have been watching my channel for any length of time, you know I've had history with Scream Factory and my stuff showing up pretty mangled. So it is nice to see that they're kind of doing some changes over there with their shipping process and packaging process to make sure we get our stuff in good condition. So guys, there is everything you are getting in this set that you can get exclusively from Shout Factory. The bundle that comes with the poster, the 2 movies, the additional slips, and all that stuff. So guys, would I pick these up? I would, especially being 2 and 3 are extremely out of print through Scream Factory and very expensive. Yeah, I would get these, especially because you're getting those new interviews, which are really awesome, and I thought they were great. The 4Ks, I think, look really good. Like I said, I don't have the original Blu-rays, so it's kind of hard to compare for me. Which one do I like the most? I think 2 is better than 3. 3 is great. It's definitely funnier, but I think 2 is the better out of these 2. Now, 1 I think is the best, but it's hard to, you can't really compare them because 2 seems like to be its own movie in a way. Yeah, these have connections, but 2 and 3 can honestly stand on their own as their own movies, in my opinion. Complete tonal shift, new actress, everything. So great movies. If you guys don't have these, you want to pick these up, I think you should. I think they look great. Again, links will be down below. I'll have a link over at Shout Factor if you guys want to get this bundle. And then I also have a link over at the Movie Room if you want to get them individually with the standard slips. If you do head over to the Movie Room, make sure you use my coupon code MovieDen10. That'll get you a one-time 10% off your order. But guys, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And of course, you all take care.